Now, she entered the house to rapturous applause and was praised for her inspiring speech. But earlier this week, it was Trisha Goddard's turn to leave the celebrity Big Brother house. Well, in her first interview outside the house, Trisha is with us. Your level of coordination is off the scale, Trisha. Can I compliment you on it? I mean, it was amazing. Do you know what? I just looked at your wee face there when they said you'd been nominated. That must be hard.
Making the nominations is harder because
it?
you really are scratching around in the dirt for what I think of as really minor, petty things. And the second lot of nominations, Big Brother said, you're not allowed to bring up, you know, do it as a joke. You're not allowed... all of these rules, and it was because of me. I was like, well, I could say, yeah. And, you know, so you kind of think when you've been nominated... for me, all of the things I kind of know I'm guilty of, and remember, the cameras are on you, you know, the day... Well, you've done it, haven't you? You've done it. Yeah. The days can be 14 hours long, and, you know, all of the little habits you hope to keep secret come out. So then you think, oh, God, who have I ticked off? But I found out afterwards, after I came out the house. And
you did. How did you feel about that? Because Chesney was obviously... very, you know, very, very fond of you. As you said, you'd built a close relationship. But then he was traumatised by the fact that you were going to find out that he nominated you. How did you feel last night when you did find that out?
Avenged, because he was traumatised.
The suffering eased your pain.
No, I mean, as we kept saying, Chesney and I went to the same primary school, albeit a few years apart. His kids now work in a pub, whereas as a 14-year-old I had a job cleaning the sausage pans. And so we knew similar people and all that sort of thing. So the minute we got into the house, I said, oh, my God, every time I talk about St Anne's Heath, they say, oh, you know, Chesney Hawkes, you know. And we bonded. So, and I kind of... A lot of my close friends growing up have been guys, so I was kind of more with the guys. And so... I went, and it was actually in the programme, I said to Big Brother, oh, he's suddenly changed, you know, whereas he'd come up and sit next to me, he'd suddenly gone somewhere, he was going to, in that case, Angelica. And it was like, you know, I felt like that little boy, you know...
When your friend's gone off with somebody else.
No, I felt like it was Sixth Sense. Suddenly, you know, perhaps I'd passed away and nobody had actually told me about it. So, don't worry, I've got a very dark sense of humour around death. You've got to... but anyway, then... It kind of made sense when I came out of the house and I saw that he'd nominated me. And when I heard that, I was like, wow. And then when he went to the diary room, not once but twice, and said how guilty he felt, I thought, oh, obviously, I thought that's why you couldn't look me in the eye. And I picked him to be my butler, and you know, and I got to tell you, he went above and beyond.
In his butlering? In his
butlering.
Oh, maybe he didn't like it.
No, he can pack, because he's always on the road touring. Yeah. He can pack like I never can. I mean, I pack from the other side of the bedroom. So he was really, you know, and all of that. And then I kind of got it. Yeah. I thought, you felt guilty. I confronted you about that. He had to live with it all of that time.
But that's you, you know, because you're a journalist at your fingertips, Trisha, so you're trying to work people out all the time, you're trying to sort of... And you could see that you were doing that. So, come on, Jojo and Chris, what's going on?
What is going on there?
Sorry. OK.
Does it fancy her?
Does a barnacle fancy the rock to which it's connected?
Right.
It kind of needs
process that.
No, look. Jojo's fascinating, and we had some D&M conversations as Ms. Mum. The thing about Jojo, and she's very open about it, she can't go to a restaurant without security. She can't do anything. She hasn't really had... She was on Dance Moms when she was
she's
6.
massive in the States, isn't she?
She is... There's a money-making machine, as there is around anyone famous. Everything, her image, everything is controlled. In the house, unexpectedly, I think she found a freedom to to be a child, to be a kid. She's 21.
Oh.
She had an old head on young shoulders because of the business side, but on the other side, she was very, very young. When Chris first came into the house, he kind of made a beeline for Ella. I mean, Ella is a very, very pretty girl and what have you. Then Jojo came in with her energy, and I felt for Ella because suddenly it was... And it's very, very... It's very, very intense.
So has he got a game plan then?
Well, I said to him, I said, get this, I mean, she's 21, he's 31. And I said to him, I know you're 31, it says that in your passport, but you're actually, if I'm being generous, 19. I said that to him.
Do you think his game plan is, I'm going to be friends with the big Hollywood star?
I know you're desperate. You're going to have to speak to Trisha about this off the programme because we've got limited time. And you went in there for a very specific reason, Trisha. You wanted to speak about living with stage 4 cancer. Did you get out of that experience what you wanted? Because that's the most important thing.
Well, I'm here to talk, you know, it gave me a platform. Yes, I wanted to show that with the kind of support I get, and places like Maggie's Centre give that support, but again, they're mainly a charity and it's where you live. But with the correct support, you can do things like live with, and I hate that label, nobody says terminal anymore, it's life-limiting.
Yeah.
And you just talk to Paul, and that's a life-limiting illness. But with that support, anybody with a life-limiting illness can live life to the full. And there are people with stage 4 that, you know... There are people with stage 4, and, you know, my oncologist looks after, who are still with us 20 years on, because it can... Stage 4 means the cancer spread. It can be one cell to somewhere else or be in your lungs and your heart, what have you. So you could have 20 years to live. You could have 20 months or less. But if you get that wraparound support, which means you don't end up in hospital with a side effect, you don't... You know, your family isn't having to look after you. If you get the sorts of things that are preventative treatment and they treat you as the person, because they said to me, what do you want to do? I said, I want to continue working. I want to do this. I want to ice skate. My oncologist went, I want to do, you know. And they arranged my treatment and everything around that. And palliative care, I know it freaks a lot of people out, and I'm going to say this in the UK and the US, there are a lot of people in the UK, the majority, who are going through a life-limiting illness, who won't connect. They're often offered palliative care, and you'll do what I did when they ring you up, and you will say, oh, my God, does that mean I'm dying? It does not. Palliative care's moved on. It's now about controlling the, you know, the pain you might get, the side effects. There's a minority of people who will do that. So you are living with the things that pain you, that mean you can't work.
I'm so sorry, but I'm so
glad.
I'm so glad that you got that out.
Yeah.
If you're offered it, take it. Take it. Take it.